G'day guys, and as you can see behind me, welcome back to the sand dunes. I'm this time up at a different set of sand dunes that I was a couple of months ago. These sand dunes are much closer to Cervantes. What you can also see behind me is fellow photographer and YouTuber Richard Lefroy. This is Richard's first time up at the sand dunes, and Richard, what do you think so far?
It's pretty awesome so far, isn't it? It's almost like another word. Another world. You're sort of driving up the highway. You've got the ocean on the left, and all of a sudden you just get these big white patches just popping out of the bush. And yeah, we've just sort of trudged up through them now, and it's amazing. It really is amazing.
We haven't actually found our composition yet. The sun is starting to go down. In fact, it's probably only about 15 minutes from setting. So we want to get a sunset shot with the sun lighting the sand dunes from behind us. We haven't got much in the way of cloud, unfortunately. But hey, this is only going to be our first location. We're actually trying to do a bit of a photography marathon here. We're going to be...
I'm wrecked already, mate. I'm serious.
Not only are we here to get a sunset, we're also here to grab some astrophotography, and we may even stay for the sunrise in the morning. Really depends on how far the drinks and the food go. So anyway, we're going to head off and hopefully have some fun.
Let's do it.
Here we are at what I think is a reasonably good start for our first composition. The sun is actually behind us. It's at a slightly different angle than what it was when I was shooting the dunes before. It was more to the right of me. It's now really behind me. When it was more to the right a couple of months ago, I was getting more of that contrast between the side that was lit by the sun and the side that was in the shadow. In this particular picture, I've got the whole scene being lit by the sun, both sides of the dunes. In the foreground, I've got some of the textures of the sand. That's always good to have in the foreground. But I'm failing to get that line, that leading line that I want. So in this particular image, I'm not going for any leading lines. I'm just looking at the waves of the sand dunes. This is going to be pretty much a fairly minimalistic image. I'm going to have the sand dunes in the bottom third probably, and leave lots and lots of negative space above the sand dunes themselves, just to make sure that they're a real feature in this image. With the sun behind me, of course, I've got the other challenge that my shadow is almost in this shot itself. So I've had to move myself to the left, and I'm making sure that I'm ducking out so that my shadow is not in that bottom left-hand corner. Unfortunately, we've got a little bit of smoke that's come in from the forests a couple of 100 kilometers to our left, and that's just drifting through, but I'm going with it. That smoke is kind of creating some sort of a pattern in the sky. I'm not too sure what's going to happen when the sun dips. It might pick up some of the color there, but the patterns that the smoke is making in the sky are kind of a nice match to the waves and the patterns that the sand dunes are making in that bottom third of the image. So as I said, I think this is a pretty good start. In terms of camera settings, I've got no filters, and the reason for that is the entire scene is evenly lit. The lens I'm using is the 17 to 35. I'm on around about 28mm. So on ISO 100, I'm on f8. f8 gives me a pretty sharp image for this lens, and a shutter speed of 1/200th of a second. I'm still on a tripod because I just prefer to take my landscapes on a tripod, and it gives me the opportunity, as the sun changes or as the light decreases, I can increase my shutter speed, and the camera's already on the tripod nice and sturdy. In terms of where I'm focusing, because I don't mention where I focus enough in these videos, but I'm going to try to going forward, I've got my focus point on the top peak of the sand dunes on the left hand side. So at ISO 100, f8 and a shutter speed of 1/200th of a second, let's take this shot and move on to our next composition. As we're exploring these beautiful sand dunes, I should do a shout out to Andrew Dawes. He's another landscape photographer from Australia. He's travelling around Australia at the moment. He came over and visited us in Perth a couple of weeks ago, and he found these sand dunes, and we were going to come out here together, but unfortunately plans got changed. He wasn't able to make it. So thanks very much, Andrew, for finding these for us. We're having a great time here, as you can see. And I do encourage you to go and check out Andrew's channel. I'll link it in the description below. It's called Adventure 2, and it's a fantastic channel. He's got lots of beautiful places. At the moment he's uploading videos from Tasmania, but he's travelled right through to WA, come up through the southwest, so he's got videos to come. So make sure you check that out. If you like what he does, subscribe, because he'll have plenty more content to come. Thanks, mate. We've been wandering around for the last 15 minutes. The sun has gone down, and so as a result, these beautiful pink hues are now in the sky, just on the horizon, and they provide a really beautiful backdrop to these sand dunes. It kind of softens the scene, which is nice. We've still got the smoke in the sky. That's predominantly across the pink area of those hues, and look, would I prefer them to not be there? Probably, but we're going with it. I'm around about 25 meters back from the sand dune, and I've changed lenses. I've taken off the 17 to 35. I've now got the 24 to 70, and I'm zoomed in all the way to 70 mil. The reason why I'm doing that is I'm trying to compress the scene. I've got some dead twigs and plants in the foreground. I don't want that to appear in the foreground of the image. So I'm zoomed across that, and I've really isolated the sand dune and that beautiful S-curve on its own. Other than that, I really haven't changed too much. I'm still on ISO 100. I've changed my f-stop to f10 just to make sure that everything's in focus, and I've slowed my shutter speed down to 1/8 of a second. That's pretty much because we're losing light, so I've had to increase that. I've placed the focus point on the top part of the S-curve. There's a nice contrast point there, which I'm using to focus the scene. I'll be able to take this in one shot. It should be sharp throughout. With that said, let's take this shot. Probably taken the last shot for the sunset. We're now going to go back to the car, grab something to eat, and wait for the light to completely disappear before we start coming back out here again and finding some compositions, probably similar compositions, for the astrophotography that we're planning to do later tonight. What do you think, Richard? What do you think of the place?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So it's it's only 2 hours away, and it just, it is kind of otherworldly out here. I've said it before. I'll say it again. And you just get you come over one dune and you just see it all laid out before you.
So you happy with the shots that you took?
Yeah, I think so. Really kind of subtle and delicate colours. I'm hoping once I actually get home and see them on the computer on the big screen, that I'll be able to pull something out of them, that I've got something there. But yeah, I think I'm pretty happy. And yourself?
Excellent. Yeah, I'm really happy with the shots I took. I know what you mean, because of the subtlety, and you're not too sure whether you know, you're going for a shot where you're picking up textures. It's a little hard to see those textures on the back of the camera.
On the back of that little LCD screen, it's you're squinting, and even still. So,
yeah. So that's good. It's good that you're happy. You're looking forward to tonight.
I think so. Yeah, I'm actually going to get a head start on dinner.
Oh, man.
Hope you don't mind.
Excellent. Okay. Did you bring one for me?
Yeah, I did actually. It's back in the car though.
Oh, that's awkward. Make sure that you do go across to Richard's channel and check out this video, because he's doing a video as well. So it'll be great to see his story and his take on this little adventure from his perspective. Once you're there, check out his other videos. He's got some great videos on some more landscape around WA, and he also tries out he experiments with some other types of photography. So it's definitely worth a look, and follow along, because there's plenty more content that he's going to be posting. So that's great. Let's get back to the car and have something to eat, mate.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's pretty much it for this part of the trip. So if you do like the images that I took, make sure you give me a thumbs up down below, subscribe if you haven't already, check out the other videos if this is your first time to my channel, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I always love reading those comments, it's fantastic. But until next time guys, thanks very much for watching.